Good afternoon, planner friends. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. And I wanted to go ahead and share my grandparents' story. If you saw Vlogmas Day 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you missed that one, I will link it in the description below. But this is my grandmother and grandfather. I called them Mama and Papa. These were my dad's parents. And I told you that they had a pretty neat story. So I wanted to go ahead and share that with you today. If you are not familiar with this home, this is the Biltmore Estate. It is located in Asheville, North Carolina, up in the mountains. It is the largest privately owned home in America with 135,000 square feet of living space. It was built in 1889 by George Washington Vanderbilt, and it was completed in 1895. The name Biltmore came from a combination of his last name and the word more, meaning open rolling land. The home was open to guests and family for the first time on Christmas Eve, 1895. In 1898, George married Edith Dresser, and in 1900, their only child, Cornelia, was born at the estate, and that's basically where she grew up. And this is where my grandparents came in. My grandmother worked at the estate from 1926 to 1928 as a chambermaid. She lived on the 4th floor and cleaned and helped throughout the house. And if Cornelia was on the grounds and her personal assistant wasn't available, then my grandmother would help Cornelia while she was there. She told stories about things like having to remove all the books from the shelves in the library once a year to dust the books and the shelves themselves. Just very interesting stories she had about her time there at the estate. We took her when I was in high school to visit the Biltmore Estate, and she could tell you what drapes were actually up when she was there, where certain pieces of furniture were, and things like that. It was just amazing to hear her talk about it. My grandfather actually worked for the dairy, which was located on the estate grounds. The Biltmore was kind of a self-sufficient home, so they had a dairy, and they also would sell goods to the people in Asheville. So my grandfather worked for the dairy as a delivery man. He told stories about his horse-drawn wagon. He would be delivering milk and other goods to homes, and his horse would go ahead to the next stop and be waiting for him there because they knew which houses to stop at. So it was just amazing to hear his story. And basically what happened is my grandmother had family that lived in Asheville. She was visiting and stayed too late and got locked out. And so my grandfather was taking a delivery up to the house and let her in through the gate and took her on his wagon up to the house. That's how they met, and that's where they formed a relationship. There was actually one point when you go to the Biltmore Estate, you can rent an audio tour to listen to as you walk through, and my grandparents were mentioned on that audio tour at one time. So during the Great Depression, Cornelia and her husband decided to go ahead and open the house to the public in 1930. And that's how it came about that the public is now able to tour the Biltmore House. And I will say, there is no better time to tour the house than at Christmas time. This is the banquet hall of the Biltmore House, and this is where, once my husband knew my family's history with the Biltmore House, this is where he decided to ask me to marry him, was in this banquet hall during Christmas with this huge, beautiful tree up. So the Biltmore House means so much to me. Every time I go there, I say I can feel my grandparents' presence there. And just the fact that my husband was thoughtful enough to consider my family history and propose to me in one of the most beautiful rooms of the estate. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's Vlogmas. I hope you enjoyed that story. I find it very interesting. I hope you did as well. That place holds a big spot in my heart. So if you ever get a chance, go visit the Biltmore Estate, Asheville, North Carolina. Until next time, I will talk to you later. Have a good evening.